Hey everybody, welcome back to another Quick Tie. My name is Tim Hepworth here with Fly Fishing Bover Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying. I want to thank you for joining us for this Quick Tie brought to you by Western Canada Fly Fishing Guide School. Do not forget to like and subscribe to this video. Hit that little bell icon. It will notify you anytime we have some more videos coming your way. We are tying our last fly of the season. Sad, can't believe it. This is coming out of episode 13. This is the Circus Peanut Hopper. Kind of a unique little pattern. We're going to take you through. It'll be how we finish things off. I'm going to be tying out of my season 6 kit, like I said, and this is coming from episode 13. So go ahead and grab your number 13 package. If you're tying out of the individual kits, just go ahead and grab the one marked Circus Peanut Hopper. If you don't have any of your kits, that's totally fine as well. Head over to our website. You'll find a full fly recipe that you can just follow along with, and then go ahead and tie with your own materials. Okay, let's head over to the vise and we will get going on this fly. Here it is, in all its glory, the Circus Peanut Hopper. We're doing a kind of a fun pink color with this one. So for thread tonight, I'm gonna be using some pink thread. I'm using some UTC 140. It doesn't even look pink in there, but it is pink. It's a nice pink, fluorescent pink color. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get that fly out of the vise and we'll go over and grab our next hook. This isn't a super big pattern that we're tying today. This is a size 10 hook, long shank hook. So it's actually not super big, but that's okay. We're gonna get a fairly good size fly off of it anyways. We're gonna come in here first with our thread just behind the eye. We're gonna work a nice thread base all the way back to the bend of the hook. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that tag end and then just keep going. We're gonna take this all the way back to the hook bend, okay? I'm gonna take it even just a little bit into the bend and then bring it back up and set it at about that barb. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab some foam. So we've got lots of foam in your kit. This is 2 mil tan foam. We're gonna need 2 pieces of it for this fly. So I have a strip of it here. I'm just gonna cut it in half. Make sure that you have at least 1.5 inches or so worth of foam. I'm just doubling them up so they're laying on top of each other because I'm gonna shape the rear end of the fly to start. So I'm gonna come up here and all I'm gonna do is just take off the corners on both of these together so they're nice and even. Just kind of gives a little shape to the back end of this fly. Now from here, what I'm gonna do is keeping them nice and level. I'm first just gonna do just a little dab of some super glue. Just right there, it's gonna help kind of hold that foam right up on top of the hook shank. I'm gonna make sure I got my foam nice and level together. And now I want to hang this off the back of the fly, roughly 1/3 of a hook shank out the back. That's where we're going to get some more size on this fly. Then I'm going to take a thread wrap. This one's kind of loose to start with. A second one that's a little tighter. Third one, I'm just going to let my bobbin hang. I'm going to make sure that I get my foam stacked perfectly. Then I take my fingers right over where those thread wraps are. I'm hiding it from you, but I'm going to pinch right there, and then I'm going to pull tight with my bobbin. That's where I'm gonna get that nice tight wrap in. And then I can make sure that my foam is sitting right where I need it to be. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here with some of your rubber legs. So go ahead, in your bunch of rubber legs there, take off 2 of them, and we're gonna tie these legs in. So we're gonna do legs twice in this pattern. Do these back ones first. So basically you're just gonna even up these ends, find the midway point roughly, and I'm gonna lay them right up on top. Gonna do 1, 2 wraps, just loose ones, and I should still be able to maneuver these legs around. So I'm gonna find the 2 that are the near side of the fly, and I'm gonna pull them to this side, and I'll come grab these 2 and pull them to the far side of the fly. Okay, so make sure those are nice and even. I'm gonna put just a couple more thread wraps over top of them, and then we're gonna lift everything up and get our thread back in front of the foam. So with our thread right here, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a nice long dubbing noodle. We've got a whole bunch of this pink dubbing in your kit. It's a very fine, almost like a dry fly dubbing. We're just gonna really make quite a thick dubbing noodle all the way down, probably 6 inches long, because we really wanna baste a ton of this dubbing to the underside of the fly so we can make it look nice and full, just like that. Okay, so I am gonna use just a little bit of dubbing wax. I found with this specific dubbing that it did help a little bit in making my dubbing noodle, so I'm not putting an excessive amount, just putting basically a little bit of tackiness on that thread. And then I'm just gonna go get started with my dubbing, remembering when I'm making these dubbing noodles that I just need to spin that dubbing in one direction, not with two fingers going back and forth. Just keep moving those fingers in the same direction. And I'm just gonna work my way down, continue making or placing more and more dubbing on here. Even if it looks like it's way too thick or uneven, that doesn't matter because you can always double back on your wraps. Once we start going up the hook shank, you're better to have a little bit more on here that we can take off than to not put enough on. I'm gonna put just a little bit more on here. I still might have to add some more later. It always takes more of this dubbing than you think it's gonna take. So get that wound on there real good. Okay, so I'm gonna lift up the legs on the fly. I want my first wraps of this dubbing to be right back up against that foam. And I'm just gonna start working my way forward. I wanna make it look nice and even, so if I gotta keep doing multiple wraps in the same spot to get the same height of that dubbing in that particular area, then that's what I need to do. I want it to look as even as possible all the way to the hook eye. I'm gonna need just a smidge more because I want to take this dubbing right to the eye of the hook. So I'll add just a little bit more here. Work around those legs. Finish up with a few more wraps right up here. Take just a little bit of that off. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both pieces of this foam and I'm going to lay them forward. And I'm going to take some thread wraps right over top of where that hook eye is below. I'm going to do a couple. On my third one, I'm going to do that same thing I did in the back. I'm going to pinch and pull tight. Take a few more wraps. I should be left with something that looks like that. Got just a little bit of wayward dubbing here. I'm going to get out of the way. There we go. Okay, so this is what I should be left with at this point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of this orange foam. Okay, doesn't need to be a super long piece, so I'm just going to cut it a little bit longer than needed, just for the sakes of showing you where it's going to be trimmed. I'm just going to lay that kind of evenly over that. This is going to be my cider foam. Going to tie that in on top, and we will trim that up here in a second. And now I just need to go and grab a couple more pieces of legs. We'll put on our front legs, and then this pattern's pretty much wrapped up, besides just a little bit of trimming. So I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to even up the tips, find the midway point. I'm going to lay them right on top of that yellow foam, or so that orange foam. Just do a couple of loose wraps, and then I can reposition the legs down each side. Just like so. And then I'm going to take a couple more thread wraps just to make sure they're good and secure. And then all I need to do is I need to lift up, bring my thread forward and underneath. And then from here I can either whip finish the fly or I can use a half hitch tool. I'm just going to use my half hitch tool real quick to make my knot. Come up over the hook eye. Make sure you don't have any legs stuck in there. Pull that tight. I'm going to do one more. Again, lay my tool on top, 2 wraps. Slide the end over the hook point or the hook eye. Pull that off and close that knot off tight. And I'm going to come in here and trim out my thread. Set my thread aside. And now I'm going to first trim my foam. So I want to extend my foam just in front of the hook eye. Not too far. I'll cut all 3 together. Okay, it looks like that. Then I'm just going to round all 3 pieces together. And then I'm going to come back and trim this. That's just going to be our cider foam, so it's a little bit easier to see. And then I'm going to do all these bottom legs kind of together. So I'm going to pick the length that I want. Length is definitely something that's a preference on these legs. Make sure you're cutting just the 4 on this side together. As close to the same length as possible, and you can flip it over and try to match that size the best that you can. you're happy with them, if you need to make any adjustments, just make some little adjustments to your legs. But leg length is always a bit of a preference thing. And legs never quite sit perfectly, so they're always going to look a little funny in their length, but you choose how long you want them to be, and you go from there. Okay, guys, that has been our Circus Peanut Hopper in a nice, fun pink color. Definitely try this in a golden stone color as well, or try it in olive would be also another great color to try it in. But yeah, another great pattern, and it is our final pattern of Season 6. Again, my name is Tim Hepworth here with Fly Fishing Bow Over Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying. It has been an incredible season. Taking you guys through these flies. Cannot wait to be back for Season 7. Don't forget, like and subscribe to this video. Hit that bell icon, and we'll notify you when we're back with our next season. Okay, guys, take care, and we'll see you then.